What is a scam?
Well, I just defined it. Fraud, right?
Yes. So would you agree in a scam, you force a customer to buy something against their will?
Here's the thing.
Yes or no? I let you talk. Yes or no?
Yes, but here...
Okay. How many of you have to take classes against your will that are waste your time? Look around.
Hold on.
Look around.
But here, agree. There's alternatives. College is not for everyone. I totally agree with you. People could go to trade school. They could start a business. But everything comes with risk. We got to look at what is college promising the students. College is promising access to resources, and it provides...
Incorrect. College is implicitly and explicitly through their website and their promotional material tell parents that if you come here, you will have a better life. Also, one other stat, do you know that 4 out of 10 kids that go to college do not graduate? 4 out of 10 kids that go to college do not graduate.
That's not true.
It is. 59% is the national graduation rate.
I mean, no one cares. The president lies every single day.
What did he lie about today?
I'm not sure what he lied about today.
Anything else you guys feel real strongly about?
Yeah, if he wasn't president, he'd be in jail.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have this video from Charlie where he is confronted by this person, and the way things unfold and ends is quite unexpected. I'll be sharing my thoughts along the way. Let's jump straight in.
So my topic of discussion is going to be that college is not a scam. And please hear me out till the end before I ask my question, so it kind of makes sense. So I understand everything you say. You said college is a scam, and the issue is because there's a lot of student loans, there's people who drop out of college every year, there's a lot of people who can't find jobs, government's funding it, and why should taxpayers pay for it, right? I understand. It's a concern. It's valid. But at the same time, scam means fraud, and fraud is not what college is, because colleges don't promise guaranteed success. Colleges promise access to resources, which they do deliver. And it's up to the people to actually be accountable and use those resources correctly. But what happens a lot of times is that a lot of people don't use it correctly and fail. I do agree that there needs to be reforms. I think especially the funding of colleges should be reformed, how the government funds may be limited, maybe more structured and with more oversight. But at the end of the day, colleges do provide a lot of value to the society. And also, people who do go to colleges, on average, statistically, earn higher income on average, have half the unemployment rate, and they have more opportunities. So my question to you is, are you denying the data?
Okay, so let's define a scam. What is a scam?
Well, I just defined it. Fraud, right?
Yes. So would you agree in a scam, you force a customer to buy something against their will?
Here's the thing.
Yes or no? I let you talk. Yes or no?
Yes, but here...
Okay. How many of you have to take classes against your will that are waste your time? Look around.
Hold on.
Look around.
But here's...
I let you talk. Look around.
Charlie, I'll be honest.
You haven't looked around yet.
I've taken classes myself.
Every hand is up. Hold on. You just agreed a scam would make people buy something against their will, and every hand went up in the audience saying they have to take classes against their will. You just now agreed, using Aristotelian logic, that that's a scam.
Hold on. Don't people choose to go to college?
Not always. That's a very... Well, of course, they have the agency.
People have the right to go to college.
A lot are pressured by parents. Time out. Of course, they have the agency to do that. But there's a cultural expectation to get that piece of paper. Secondly, to your point about earning more money, do you know half of the kids in this audience, if they get a job, they'll get a job that does not require a college degree?
I've actually fact-checked your data.
It's from the Department of Education.
Okay, yeah, that's true. The reality is that's true only for entry-level roles. Later in the career, that's not the case. Average college graduate earns 80% higher income compared to high school graduate.
If they graduate.
Median...
See, that's a deceiving statistic. I wrote a whole book on this. It's very deceiving. Let me tell you why. Because you're taking the top income earners of doctors and lawyers and engineers, and it brings the average up even more.
Let's look
when
at the
in
median.
reality, no, you look at people who study the humanities. You have a big humanities school at UC Riverside. They will, on average, earn maybe $50,000 or $60,000 a year. Secondly,
even liberal arts graduates earn $15,000 to $40,000 more than high school graduates.
Incorrect. That's old data.
That's correct.
How many here?
That's correct.
How many people here would be thrilled earning $70,000 a year right now?
That's higher than the average.
Wrong. According to the Wall Street Journal, hundreds of thousands of high school juniors getting $70,000 a year job offers for not going to college to become plumbers, welders, and electricians. They don't have to go to college. They don't have to get student loan debt. I let you talk. Let me talk.
The hardening of the heart is a gradual process that occurs when a person or society rejects truth in favor of emotions or evil desires. This resistance, ladies and gentlemen, to truth, it leads to a distorted understanding of the world and ultimately to spiritual blindness. That's the truth. where people are unable to recognize the deeper meaning or divine purpose behind life's experiences, when emotions take precedence over logic, it becomes harder to understand. It becomes harder to understand the truth. You see, that is rooted in God's word. In an environment, individuals, when they prioritize feelings over God's word, you see, when they choose momentary comforts, missing out on the lasting peace and hope that comes from embracing true light or logic or common sense, there will be chaos. There will be chaos.
So they don't have to go into debt. They don't have to get any degree. I'm sure almost everyone in this audience would be like, boy, I would kill to earn 70 grand a year. And yet how many people in this audience were told a fair hearing, hey, you don't need to go to four-year college. You could earn 70 grand as a high school junior to become a welder.
Hold on, Charlie.
That is not a
truth. The Bureau
truth.
of Labor Statistics says that on average, the college graduates earn about 30% higher than trade school graduates. And again, I agree. There's alternatives. College is not for everyone. I totally agree with you. People could go to trade school. They could start a business. But everything comes with risk. We got to look at what is college promising the students. College is promising access to resources, and it provides it.
Incorrect. Colleges
That's
implicitly
correct.
And explicitly through their website and their promotional material tell parents that if you come here, you will have a better life. Instead, that is the sales pitch. I guarantee you, if someone
Please
goes...
show me one website. I've looked all over the place. I haven't seen a single university that guarantees success or happiness.
Hold on a second.
They promise resources.
I just said implicitly and explicitly. Almost every single college has on their website, preparing leaders for a better tomorrow, preparing leaders for an ever-changing world. And if you go through that, they have all these deceiving statistics that if you come to this college for 4 years... Allow me to finish talking, okay? Again, for 4 years, yep, someone... We're going to keep going. Don't stare. We tried to warn about that. Get them some water, too. Yeah, and you get a signed hat. Don't faint just for the signed hat. Of course, I acknowledge that some college graduates do better. That window is increasingly closing. Now, let me ask you another argument that you might not be prepared for. Almost everybody in this audience is studying something that will be irrelevant because of artificial intelligence. Yeah! Do you think at this school, every single course and every degree is really prepared for the AI revolution that is coming next?
Now let me ask you a question.
You have to answer mine.
What are your alternatives?
Oh, I have plenty. So actually there's 11 million job openings right now that pay you more than $75,000 a year that don't require a college degree. Right now.
But did you know that
11 million.
over 95% of US employers still require a college degree for mid to high roles? And about 40% require just to get in.
Again, you didn't even answer my question. You're dodging it. But that number's coming down. Secondly, 11 million jobs that pay more than $75,000 a year that don't require a college degree. My alternative also is this. If you want to get something specialized, of course, go to college. The vast majority of kids that go to college are studying the humanities, soft social sciences, psychology, or communications. They're not studying to become engineers or doctors or nurses, all of which I totally understand. And what you're basically saying, your argument, which is true, but it's fraudulent, come here to get a piece of paper because once you get the piece of paper, then you'll get a job.
That's not true. No one is promising that. College promises access to resources. Access to preparation to leadership doesn't mean guarantee.
Again,
it only gives access. You are the one responsible. I think it should be merit-based and people should take accountability for their actions. If they come to college and be lazy, don't take classes, they are going to achieve nothing.
Do they have job preparedness at this school?
Yes, there's a career guidance center. I went to it.
Hold on, wait, they have a whole center about career preparedness, so they're selling career preparedness.
Yes, and you gotta go and access it yourself.
Point. Wait, hold on. So they're selling.
Time
out. You keep interrupting me, man. Again, do they teach you to interrupt in college this much? It's like you gotta let the other person talk, okay?
Let me be honest. I respect you, but no one interrupts more than you.
At career preparedness centers are implicitly and explicitly telling you you're getting something of value. And again, half the people in this audience If they get a job, they'll get a job that doesn't require a college degree. They'll be burdened with debt. It's 4 years of wasted time, talent, and treasure. And finally, and most importantly, almost every one of your careers will be rendered obsolete by AI in the next 10 years.
Hold on. Are you denying the data that $1.2 million higher earnings in median for college graduates?
I've already explained that.
That's not the mean. You were talking about the average. What about the median?
I've already explained it's not degree specific. Also, one other stat. Do you know that 4 out of 10 kids that go to college do not graduate? 4 out of 10 kids that go to college do not graduate.
That's not true.
It is. 59% is the national graduation rate. Okay, again, I can't have a conversation if you deal in different, factual
I'm just
reality.
trying to say the same degree. If you're talking about dropout rates, I totally agree with you. There is a lot of people dropping out. That's an issue. We should find ways to fix that.
It truly boggles my mind. In a society that places so much value on higher education, many college students seem to be far from genuinely educated. Despite the time, money, and efforts invested in attending colleges and universities, there is a notable disconnect between the education that they are receiving and the knowledge or insight they actually possess. And this is sad, ladies and gentlemen. Because instead of engaging in deep, thoughtful conversations or contributing with well-informed opinions, many students struggle to articulate meaning. They struggle to articulate meaningful thoughts or provide any substantial arguments. Can you imagine this? It's as if they've gone through years of schooling without truly grasping the core principles that should be central to their education. And this is crazy. This is crazy.
I see a lot of people, a lot of Trump supporters ask is, where is the proof that he is racist? Do you want to set that to bed and give us the proof?
I would say every other tweet would be proof right there. When he talks about African Americans, when he only calls out African American athletes, for whatever malfeasance he sees. God, what are all the others?
The recent attacks on the new congresswoman of color and his comments about the congressman from Baltimore. The list is endless.
That has been a big one, Baltimore. Can you go more into depth about how that is the R word?
I'm sorry?
How is that racist? There's a lot of people, I've seen so many people, that's not racist. Let's put it to bed. What makes his statements about Baltimore racist?
I can't put my...
Well, because he's saying it to a black congressman, and he's saying, the place you live in is, a rat hole or whatever it was he said. And here's the other thing. Yeah, if it's a rat hole, then he needs to talk to his son-in-law because his son-in-law owns the properties that are rat infested. And that's been in the news all over the place. Okay,
so do you think if Elijah wasn't a person of color, do you think it would still be prejudice or racist?
Yeah, I do. Because you know what? Those are urban areas. And when you're talking about urban areas, a lot of times you're talking about people of color. And let's face it, the urban people are not the ones supporting him. And I don't mean, by urban, I don't mean black. I mean people who live in cities. The ones who support him are suburban, rural, and probably not that well educated.
You mean like those people over there?
Yep.
Okay. What made you come to the conclusion to kind of categorize people like that based on their political leanings?
I watch the news, and I read what Trump says, and when I see people like those folks saying make America great again, what they mean is we're really glad that there isn't a black man in the White House.
How do you put those two together?
Because America was damn great when Obama was in the White House. And here's the other thing too. They actually, at one point, I remember when they were first running, Michelle Obama said something about let's make America great, and all the other right-wingers jumped all over it and said, how in the world can she say America's not great? But Trump comes out and says make America great again. Oh, and that's fine? Why? Because the white guy said it? No.
So do you honestly think that most of his supporters are racist or prejudiced?
Yes,
Okay.
I
Would
do.
you be willing to go over and talk to one right now and maybe see if we can bridge a divide and
No.
maybe talk?
Absolutely not. I haven't got time for them. I don't have time for them.
You wouldn't be willing just to hear their side and maybe prove you wrong so you can have a different outlook on a majority of the country?
No, I don't have time for the rhetoric. I don't know if you ever
understand what's really going on. I mean, Mueller testifies, even the Attorney General and all of the president's appointees completely misconstrue the truth. They'll say anything they don't, without any support. It's ridiculous. I mean, no one cares. The president lies every single day.
What did he lie about today?
I'm not sure what he lied about today. But
What about
I'm sure
yesterday?
He lied about something. Well, I just know that after the Mueller testimony, he came out and he again tried to categorize it as a witch hunt and said that it showed, completely cleared him, that it was exonerated, there was no collusion, and that is just a complete misrepresentation of what the Mueller report said. The only reason he's not being indicted is because you cannot indict a sitting president.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys feel real strongly about?
Yeah, if he wasn't president, he'd be in jail.
Okay. What proof do you have for that?
Well, the fact that the prosecutor came out and said he would have indicted him, yeah.
Okay.
So, anyway,
you guys don't
look,
want to
nope.
bridge the divide and bring some right here? Would you be willing to talk and maybe bridge a divide between two political parties?
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Okay, so this is just a perfect example of the tolerant, the loving, the left here.
In a society without religion, everything would become acceptable to those who choose to live by their own standards, without the checks and balances provided by religious teachings that emphasize love, respect, compassion, and accountability. The understanding of right and wrong would no longer be anchored in universal principles. Just think about it. Or of the belief of a higher power or a moral lawgiver. Just think about it. Instead, it would be entirely subjective, with each individual deciding what actions are justified or ethical based on their own personal feelings or desires. Can you imagine that? I know to some people, they may view this as a freedom of expression, but it would lead to moral chaos. It would lead to moral chaos, as different people could easily justify harmful behavior simply because it aligns with their own self-interest or perceived worldview. Those are the dangers. Why these people just want to be listened to but are not willing to listen? In reality, they are not asking for acceptance. No, they are not. They are demanding and forcing their sexuality on others as the primary focus, but under the guise of having superior, higher moral standards. They're expecting the government to impose laws to enforce their views. You see? And usually acceptance by society requires a level of assimilation to the accepted norms, not pointing out your differences, criticizing others who disagree with you, then expecting to be embraced by them. It doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't. The phrase "love is love" has been widely used in modern culture to mean that love is a purely emotional or subjective experience, free from boundaries or truth. While it is important to recognize the significance of love in relationships, love in the biblical sense is far more than just feelings or emotions, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. True love, God's love, is about sacrifice, selflessness, and aligning oneself with God's will. Love cannot be separated from truth. Love cannot be separated from truth, because truth guides love towards its proper purpose. Truth guides love towards its proper purpose, to reflect the heart of God and to lead people towards salvation and righteousness. To conclude, sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ is profoundly positive endeavor that changes lives, ladies and gentlemen. It promotes love, justice, hope, truth, and aligns with God's will. It provides eternal meaning and deep joy to those who receive it. Ultimately, it stands as the greatest gift to humanity, creating lasting impact in the lives of individuals and entire communities, and reflecting God's heart in everything it touches. So, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to click on the next one, and don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe. I will see you again next time. Bye for now.